Hi there, and welcome to Operation Carpe Diem. I'm your host, Caitlin, and here we help business owners seize their opportunity for success. Ready to start seizing your day? Let's dive right in. Hi there, friend. Welcome. Today I am talking about something maybe a little controversial, something I've kept hidden within my own self and business for a while, and I don't think I'm the only one. Wedding day guilt. Now, my husband Devin and I are wedding photographers based in Virginia, and right now we are in a season of photographing about 50 to 60 weddings a year, and we love it. We love our couples, we love the fun of a wedding day. Devin loves the food. Okay, I love the food too, but Devin really loves it. It's a dream job. But I used to get so upset with myself with how I viewed wedding days. I would feel so guilty because I would dread going to a wedding that I knew had a 4+ hour reception. I would feel guilty when I looked over a family formal list and only thought about how many people I would have to interact with when I had no clue who they were. I would feel guilty grabbing a piece of cake to buy myself a little 5-minute break from a crowded dance floor, or when I breathed a small sigh of relief when I looked at my Apple Watch and it showed we only had 30 minutes or an hour left of reception. I would feel guilty when I felt so done, so socially fatigued after a wedding day or a session that I didn't cull the images on the way home. I felt guilty because I asked for this, right? I prayed for this job, these people, the fun and the flexibility of something a little unconventional, the creativity. It's not like being a lawyer would have saved me from having to talk to people. That's what my undergrad degree is in, law and politics, and that's also a very people-heavy career. It's not even that I'm antisocial and I don't like people. It's not that I don't like our couples and their friends and their families. I love them. I love them to pieces. And that's why I felt guilty. In my mind, and I think in the minds of a lot of introverted wedding professionals, introverts in general, heck, even people in general, it can feel like the emotions we feel are a direct cause of whatever actions, right? I feel guilty about being ready to go home after an 8, 9, 10-hour wedding day because I think it seems like I don't like my job or the people. If I want to go, then there must be something to make me want to go. I must not like it here enough to stay. I must hate. Okay, hate is a strong word. I must not like this job, the people, etc. Because if I did like it, I wouldn't feel these emotions. But that's not necessarily the case, right? First of all, who hasn't ever wanted to go home from something? I don't care how much you love something, you're not doing it 24/7. You have more than one interest, maybe more than one job, hobby, priority. I could go on. I mean, I love Chick-fil-A. Devin is out picking some up right now, but sometimes I crave something a little different. I'm not eating it every day, believe me, I have tried. I go to Chick-fil-A a lot. I love tennis, choir, musicals, movies, walks outside, going to Target on a whim, organizing my baking cabinet because the townhouse we're living in doesn't have a pantry for me to stock with pretty containers. I love all of those things. But I can't do any of them all the time. I would get so bored so fast, and I wouldn't have time for all of the other things that I love. The same is true with me and wedding photography, and maybe you and wedding photography, or videography, or planning, or whatever it is that you do. This can apply to anyone. If we do the same things over and over and over, we're going to eventually grow tired of it. Now, I'm the kind of person, I get hooked on something and I hyperfixate on it for a little bit. I'll listen to one song and just have it on repeat for days, weeks, months. This doesn't really happen now because my Apple Music subscription doesn't have a limit on how much music I can listen to or how many times I can listen to one particular song, but I'm sure you've heard the saying to wear out a record, right? You listen to a record so much you wear it out. I mean, you'd have to listen to it a lot, but eventually it's too much. It stops working. If I listen to the Hamilton soundtrack too much, my record may not wear out, but my phone might die. And that's what I want us to think about today. I want us to think about ourselves with a battery, a social battery. Now, for introverts, being around a lot of people, like a 200-person wedding, especially when you're in charge of a lot, can use a lot of battery power. That's not good, it's not bad, it just is. It's how we function. We're performing at a higher rate, full power. We're on, and we're on with our best self. Happy, ready to take charge, make decisions, talk to people we've never met. We're at full power. We have all of our tabs open. Even the most powerful devices can only go so long operating at full power. So right now, let's just establish that it's normal to be tired and drained after a wedding day. That's totally human. And you're not a machine, but even machines can't go forever. So let's explore this for a minute. For example's sake, I am starting my wedding day at 100% battery. Realistically, we're probably starting around 90%, maybe 80%, because things are happening before the wedding, right? Maybe there was traffic on the way to the wedding. Lots of people are in the Starbucks line when you're getting your pre-wedding coffee. Maybe you had a smooth morning, but you're still using your battery to think of all the things you need to do to make sure the wedding day is smooth. Did you pack your camera bag? Make sure you have all of your SD cards, your batteries, anything else that you might need. The bride wants this shot. How are you going to make that happen? It looks like it might rain, so the ceremony space might flip into the reception instead of being outside now. Do you need to adjust anything mentally on your timeline to make sure you're getting all of those details? Right? We are probably thinking about all that kind of stuff. Logistics would probably be a better word than stuff. We're thinking about all of those logistics all week, but especially on wedding day. So we're not realistically starting our day off at 100% battery. For me, mornings are pretty chill, very low impact on my battery. Bridal details are great to ease me into the social scene. I'm getting the vibe of the room without fully taking control yet and stepping in for directions. Everyone is having fun, and I'm semi-alone in the corner, just doing my thing, styling pretty flat lays, very low impact on my battery. Getting ready candids are still low impact. It can take a little more battery power if the group is hyper aware of my camera when I go to take the candids, but it's still low impact. The bride getting into her dress is still lower impact. I'm directing full force at this point. I'm allowing for natural moments, but I'm still positioning the bride in good light, telling her where to place her hands, when to look back at her mom or her maid of honor as they're zipping up her dress if that's not happening naturally. It's a small group of people, but they're people who essentially know me. Lower impact. Now, a lot of our couples don't do a first look. We attract a very traditional bride, so on a normal wedding day for us, we'll have ceremony and reception details after the bride gets into her dress, and then we start the ceremony. Other times we'll have bride plus bridesmaid pictures, groom plus groomsman pictures, then ceremony reception details, or we'll have a first look, wedding party, ceremony reception details, then the ceremony. Either way, it doesn't matter. By the end of the ceremony, I am sitting at about 40% battery power. Whoa, how did that happen? We started the day at 80% on the low end, and now we're at 40? I thought you said that the beginning of the day was low impact on your battery, Caitlin. That's probably what you're thinking, right? The ceremony actually takes a lot of my personal battery power. The morning is fine. Small groups, people who expect me to be there, people I have listed on my questionnaire from the couple, and I know what to talk about with them, or enough to get a small conversation started, right? How did you meet the couple? How long have you been friends? Simple icebreakers. For the ceremony, we're adding in more people. Probably people that I don't know everyone's relation to the couple. They're all waiting for the ceremony to start. They're probably looking at me to see when the ceremony will start if they see me at the front. We have a lot of people ask us about our photography, which is really sweet and flattering, but also requires a very positive attitude when Uncle Bob starts talking about how he did wedding photography 20 years ago. And that might sound harsh. Wedding photographers know what I'm talking about. The industry has just changed a lot. Then, during the ceremony, I'm being very careful not to be noticed. Sometimes I have to step into the aisle for a tighter shot or sneak around the sides to capture some reactions or a unity ceremony. People will notice me and I become extra self aware, and it'll take more energy for me to be on. So at the end of the ceremony, I'm sitting at 40% battery. The next hour is the most draining because a lot happens. Cocktail hour. Now, I personally don't photograph cocktail hours specifically. This is something that Devin will usually get. But just because I'm not taking candids and asking people if they want a group photo doesn't mean that I'm not interacting. Family formals, wedding party, and bride and groom portraits are all happening in that hour after the ceremony for us. I'm having to corral people towards the family formal location after recessional when guests want to naturally form a receiving line. I'm quickly and efficiently taking family members that I've never met and posing them for pictures while other members are asking if they're done or when their picture is or have we taken so and so's. Now, Devin helps with this part too, and it's so great to have him help organize formals with me. After family formals, we're doing typically at minimum full wedding party photos, but usually all wedding party shots, bride plus bridesmaids, groom plus groomsmen, and all individuals. This is very hands-on, making sure we're efficiently directing a large group of people, making sure they're paying attention, doing them what I need them to do for pictures, but also still having fun. And then we're doing bride and groom portraits, which is really hands-on with posing. At the start of the reception, I am now at 10% battery. Entrances happen, maybe a welcome speech and a first dance, maybe parent dances, usually a blessing, and dinner is served. I get a quick little recharge at dinner, but I'm still in a low battery mode for toasts, cake, and sunset portraits. I get another little recharge when I edit for the same day slideshow in a room by myself for 15 minutes, and I'm 8% on the dance floor. Quick little recharge for a bathroom break, a cake break, not at the same time. That would be a little bit gross. But I usually break those up into 2 mini breaks. That way I don't feel like I'm away for too long. And this is great because Devin and I can alternate dance floor coverage here. He'll get some cake, then I'll get some cake, or vice versa. I'm probably around 7 to 8% around the time of the last dance and the exit still, because that last chunk of time gives me a little pump of adrenaline. And after we pack up everything, say goodbye to the couple, the parents, and anyone who stops us on the way to the car, which is a great problem to have, I am at 1 or 2%, maybe 3 if I'm lucky. And that equals not a lot of battery to cull the entire wedding or even half of the wedding on the way home. It's barely enough battery for me to finish offloading cards and then upload and send the sneak peeks that I edited before my social battery is dead. That's the standard though, right? Photograph an entire wedding day, still cull through most of the thousands of images that you took before you go to bed. Push yourself to get it over with because you'll be better off. I'm not saying let's be lazy, but if we're thinking about ourselves with a battery, let's really think about how that's working. Oh, hold on for a second. That's so funny. I use my laptop when I'm recording these episodes because I like to have at least a general guideline of what I'm talking about, and it just died. How ironic. Okay, I'm back. If you have an iPhone and it's about to die, the percentages go from 7 to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it's dead. You plug it up, and most of the time it turns right back on. Other times it goes 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 1, and 1, and 1, and still 1, and then dead. And then what happens? It seems like it takes forever to turn on. It is so much more beneficial for us as introverts to recognize when our battery is low and charge ourselves as needed to be better for the next day. If we know that our battery is at 1% and we keep pushing it by calling the wedding on our way home, or answering those emails, or replying to those Instagram comments, etc., the only thing we're doing is making it harder for ourselves to turn back on after we charge. The more we push ourselves past our social battery limit, the longer it's going to take for us to recharge. If we want to take this a step further, we can say that we'll likely be slower and less efficient with the work we're pushing ourselves to do if we push ourselves to do it on a low battery. If my phone is at 1%, it's usually a little slower to load things. Not an internet thing, like slow to pull up apps, buffer time with my scrolling. It's just slower to respond. If it's taking us an hour, hypothetically, to call through half of a wedding on the way home, and then 30 minutes to finish another day when we're at a fuller battery percentage, it'll probably take 45 minutes tops to call the whole thing at a fuller battery level. Those numbers are just for example's sake. I know everyone completes tasks at a different speed, but the point is we're better and more efficient as a result of knowing and recognizing our social battery levels. I don't feel guilty anymore for sneaking off for a piece of cake in the middle of a reception because, one, my couples practically insist that I get some because their cakes are fantastic. But I don't look at my absence as a result of unhappiness anymore because it's not. I know that 5 minutes with my cake is helping me to recharge and become a better, more pleasant version of myself and a better photographer for my couples as a result. I'm not having the cake because I don't like my couples and I want to get away from them. That was never the case. I'm getting the cake because I care about my couples enough to recharge my battery in order to keep showing up for them. I don't feel guilty about not pushing through and calling everything in the car on the way home. I should probably mention that Devin is the one that drives. It just occurred to me that some of you may not know that, and you're probably really confused about how I'm a superwoman of a business owner calling and driving very safely home after a wedding. No, Devin drives, he loves driving, and I'm in the passenger seat doing this. Anyway, I don't feel guilty about not pushing through and calling everything in the car on the way home because I know that the wedding or session that I have the next day, or the family event, or if I have kids, etc., they need me to be my best self tomorrow too. I don't feel guilty because these moments of recharge are not brought on by a dislike of this wonderful thing that I get to call a job. It's exactly what I said it was, a moment to recharge, to take care of myself and therefore everyone around me better, at a fuller capacity. And as business owners, isn't that what we all want? To take care of our people well? I know that's what I want, so I'm not going to feel guilty about those moments I take to recharge myself and keep doing that, to keep doing what I love. Now, if you are an introvert like me and you loved the content in this episode, I think you will love the free guide that I've put together for introverted business owners. It's called 5 Personal Content Ideas for When Your Social Battery is Low, and it is designed specifically for business owners to be able to keep showing up personally on social media and within their businesses without draining their social batteries. If you think talking to your camera all the time for stories is torture, or you post nothing personal because you didn't feel like creating new content, then this guide is for you. Join dozens of other small business owners just like you, just like me, and regain your mental health with this free guide. You can download it for free with the link in the show notes, or head on over to CaitlinWilcoxPhotography.com/personal-content-freebie. And be sure to tag me at Caitlin Wilcox Photography, that's CAITLIN Wilcox Photography, on Instagram so I can cheer you on and feature you on my stories.
Thank you for listening to Operation Carpe Diem. If you liked what you heard, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and follow along on Instagram at Caitlin Wilcox Photography. That's CAITLIN Wilcox Photography. Until next time, let's go seize the day.